Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. You'll be surprised what a brother would do to get out of getting put in violation. I mean, the lengths that a person will go to, you know what I'm saying, to avoid getting that pumpkin head, you'll be just shocked by it, right? Because a lot of brothers put on like they can handle this and handle that, and whatever comes their way, they can deal with it, right? But for the most part, it's just not true. Most brothers are not trying to go through what it's going to cost them when they get put in violation. They're just not. They're just not. Because at the end of the day, what really happens with a lot of brothers is that, you know, they talk this mess, but they can't walk this mess. You know, until they get in trouble, they never really get exposed to what it really feels like to be a part of the organization. I know that was the truth for me. You know, I got to see what it was really about. I got to see, you know what I'm saying, when the chips are down, that brother them gonna pop you down. I got to see that firsthand for myself, right? So when I was in rotation, there was this young brother named AK. Well, that's what he wanted to be known as. His name was Derek. You know what I'm saying? But he wanted to be known as AK. Now look, here's the thing with AK though, right? Wild, buck wild, do anything. And I used to trip out, man, because he was one of them brothers to be on the phone with his mom and just be talking crazy. You would have to ask him, like, who you talking to? Because the way he would be talking to her, even, don't get it wrong, I'm not saying it's okay to talk disrespectful to any woman for any reason, right? But I don't expect to hear a brother talking disrespectful to his mom on the phone. So when I would hear him talking like that, I'd be like, bro, who is you talking to and why are you so disrespectful? Because I'm thinking it's his girlfriend or whatever, but sometimes it would be his mother, right? So this brother had no boundaries whatsoever. He didn't care nothing about none of that type of stuff. None of that. I'm telling y'all now. So check this out, though. This is what it was with him. We chilling one day, you know, and bro, my COS, he come to me, and he tell me, he said, man, AK done it again. I said, what'd he do this time? Because there's always something with him, right? And brother them have been sparing him, you know what I'm saying, the physical violation, because he don't wear $130 soaking wet. I'm talking about soaking wet with sand in his pockets. He don't wear $130. But he right at about 5'10", 5'11", right? So you can imagine his body type. Frail, man. Frail. When he take his shirt off, he looked like a kid. I'm talking about like a 12, 11-year-old child. But he likes to get wild with it. Can't fight a lick. Can't fight a lick. So check this out. They done caught him up down in another unit. Down there extorting some brothers, right? You know what I'm saying? And these brothers were like, man, well, it wasn't none of the guys. They were peons. You understand? Let me make it clear when I say that, right? These were peons, but they just ain't going. He done tricked them the one time, and then the next time he come with the, you gonna pay me or GD gonna deal with you and all this old type of stuff, whatnot. So these peons, they stepped to the COS and said, look, man, we ain't trying to have no trouble with y'all, right? But we're not finna be paying y'all. You feel me? So bro was like, what y'all talking about? And then they gave him the rundown, told him what AK had done the first time, and then he come back now saying they owe GD money. So bro, he said, I'll take care of it. He told him, back up, I got it, don't worry about it, everything's straight. So when bro stepped to AK, he asked me, he said, man, what's going on with you? So he come up with this fantastic tale, like, you know, they done him wrong and all kinds of old stuff like that, right? So bro was like, look, I'm going to give you one shot, because you know how Joe is. He said, I'm going to give you one shot to come clean. If you don't come clean, man, it's whatever. It's just the bottom line. It's whatever. So, it's funny. I'm telling y'all, this is really funny. So, bro, tell him, look, man, I'm just trying to get my money. I'm not trying to be around here, you know, begging and asking people for this and that. And bro could understand that, right? But he said, you can't be using GD name in vain, man. Period, point blank. You disrupt an organization and unit. You got brothers, you know what I'm saying, that if they heard that somebody owed you some money, they coming. And we don't need brothers not being able to trust you. So when you hit him up on that paperwork, bro is pissed. Because he know what it is with me. He know what I'm going to do. He know what I'm going to do. Because he was one of those brothers I'm tired of. I was just tired of. I didn't want to run him off, but I was tired of him not getting the message. You know, I made him work out with me because I worked out all the time. I make him run laps, put him on house restriction, make him pay fines, all that. I was doing everything I could to spare him the physical violation, because I'm looking at him and I'm knowing you can't take it, and I'm not going to tell him to lighten up on you because you thin as the wind. I'm not going to do that, right? So look, bro come to me, he talking. He said, Joe T, he said, man, we got to do something to get his attention. I said, I already know what to do with him. I already know what to do with him. Go on and put him in that rack. If they find him guilty at the board, give him 3 minutes. Don't give him 6, give him 3. He can't handle 1 minute. He said, how many brothers? I said, 3. He said, who you want? I want the hit squad. It was as simple as that. Send that hit squad in there. He gonna get it today. He gonna learn his lesson one way or the other. Yeah, just simple as that. So he go to the board. The board's sick of him too because they always come to his defense when he gets involved with some peon or arguing with somebody. Brought them right there. But it's always a situation where it's like he started it. He created the problem. So when he go in front of everybody, they find him guilty. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, they like him, don't get it wrong. They like him, but they like, we got to teach you a lesson. You got to learn to stay in your lane. So they got brothers volunteering. You know what I'm saying? The COS did. He got brothers volunteering to want to go in there, but he already got his person in his squad. You know what I'm saying? When I want to send the message, right? So he tell him, look here, you got 3 minutes with 3 brothers. It's simple as that. It's going down. So he come to me. He catch me in the unit, right? Because it's like, they told him they're going to let him, get 2 days in because we were trying to get to the weekend because this happened on the Wednesday when they found him guilty and all this and then sentenced him, gave him his judgment. Now, bro didn't really want to wait till the weekend, hit him up on Friday. That way, depending on how bad it is, Saturday, Sunday, he can lay in the cell and heal up. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got to go to school. I said, he come pull up on me in the pod. He talking to me. He said, Joe T, he said, man, can you help me out, man, with the violation? I said, nah, ain't nothing I can do for you, bro. I said, I'm the one that told him to pop you down. So, why would I go back and change that, He looking at me all crazy, you know what I'm saying? Looking at me all crazy. He said, man, I don't even know what I'm going to do, man. I'm trying to, go to visit, see my mom this weekend, man. Why don't you just talk to her on the phone for me? You know what I'm saying? So you'll know that I'm telling you the truth because it's obvious you don't believe me, right? So he popping his whip. He popping his whip. I said, no, I believe if you say you're going to visit, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't got nothing to do with that. You can still go to visit. He said, man, I don't want to go up there beat up like that in front of my mom and all this and that. I ain't got nothing to do with that, bro. You'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody thinking about you. Go on to visit like that. There's been plenty of time, brother, go to visit banged up. Tell her what it is. She know what kind of lifestyle you live. You know what I'm saying? He looked at me, he said, Joe T, man, just holler at her, man. So, let her explain to you something serious going on at the house and she want to talk to you. Whatever it is, this brother is trying to get me on the phone with his mama. I said, all right, bro, I'll holler at her, but ain't nothing changing, man. Nothing is changing. It's that on that, right? So just to get him out of my face, I get on the phone. He called his mom. After about 2 or 3 minutes talking to her on the phone, because I went in the cell. I ain't even trying to stand there, whatnot. I don't want to, I ain't on all that. I go in the cell and come back out. He hand me the phone. I'm on the phone, say, how you doing? She coming off telling me, this, that, and the third. She doing okay, working hard, trying to survive. All of the little chit chat, that I don't care nothing about. None of that. I don't want to hear it really, right? I'm just trying to appease him, and then I'm getting on down, right? It's that on that, right? So she tell me, she said, look, I know my son stay getting into stuff, and he really respects you, Joe T, and all this and that, and looks up to you like a father figure. I done heard all this crap before, and I ain't going. You feel me? I said, yes, ma'am, I understand. She said, don't be calling me ma'am. I'm just as young as you are. I'm like, okay. And I seen her a couple of times in visit. She a dime piece, you know what I'm saying? But I don't do that. I don't be crossing lines and all this and that, right? But she on that phone, right? And she said, look, what is it that I can do, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that my son don't go in the rack? Now, when she said that let me know he had told her what the business is. He done told her he going in that rack. Because people in the streets don't use that terminology. You see what I'm saying? People is not a part of this life. They don't use that terminology unless they've heard it from somebody saying it or whatever the case may be. They don't really know what that is. I said, what you know about that? She said, I know something. I know a little something, I ain't green like it. She coming out like she just all sassy and whatnot. And then she said, hold on a second. Let me get comfortable. I said, okay then, go on and get comfortable. You've been working hard all week. Go on and get comfortable. She said, now hold on just a second. And I'm hearing all this moving around and all this and that on the other end. It's like, what is she doing? And then I hear a drawer open. Well, it sounded like a drawer. You know how a drawer open, and then it slammed shut. And then I hear somebody, it's like somebody moving around. She said, hold on just a second. I'm trying to get out these clothes and get comfortable. I ain't thinking nothing flip. You understand? I ain't thinking nothing flip because I ain't on that. Then she get back on the phone. She said, okay. Ooh, that's so much better. I had to come up out of that bra. Oh, my goodness. I just don't like wearing these undergarments right there. She hit me like that, right? I said, okay then. I said, I tell you what. Look, let me just get up off here and you get back on there with your son, you know what I'm saying, and you talk or whatnot. And if I go to visit, I'll see you this weekend or whatnot. But, it is what it is with your son. He gonna be all right. She said, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I want you to hear something. I'm thinking it's a song or some kind of, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing really on my mind. So all of a sudden, I hear a little sound of bzzz, like that, right? A little vibrating sound. And then I hear some, I'm like, wait a minute. Now, I'm keep it real. I'm a man now. And I'm a little intrigued, you know what I'm saying? I hear sounds like that. So I lean in to the phone, right? And he right there. And I'm throwed off, right? Because keep it in mind, I don't do this. You feel me? I don't do this, y'all, So I lean into the phone and he's standing right there. I don't know what to say to him, but I got that phone on my ear now, right? And then he turned his back and he walks away, right? So I just lean on in, you know what I'm saying? He don't know what's going on, right? So I'm listening. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing her talking about, get it. Go on and get it, Daddy. Go on and get it. And I'm like, who are you talking to? Look, this to them now. That's why I said, who are you talking to? She said, I'm talking to you. I said, huh? I said, what you doing? I'm knowing the answer to this question before I ask it. You feel me? I said, what you got going on? She said, just listen. Oh, she started going in. I'm talking about going in. And then, she had to put that thing down. Or she had to put that thing down because I'm hearing all of this. I'm talking about, y'all hear me? Y'all understand what I'm saying? And I'm hearing all this and I'm like, oh my goodness. Now keep in mind now, I'm a man. I'm a man, y'all. So I don't even set the phone down. I just sat there like, man, enjoy the show. I enjoy the show. She go on and on, man, for about 5 minutes, man. I'm just tripping. Just understanding what's going on and knowing that brother done walked away and all this and that. And his mom, she got that thing popping. You feel me? And I'm just blown away by this, right? Because I don't do this, y'all. I don't do this kind of stuff. After a few more minutes, she hit that thing. Now she just starts screaming. I said, oh my God. I'm embarrassed to some extent, but I'm still a man. So, look, check this out. When she finished, she said, that's our secret, ain't it? She hit me like that. I said, dang. I said, nah, I ain't gonna say nothing, because I'm feeling like if I was to tell him that, he might get offended. It's his mama. I can't say nothing about that. You feel me? I said, nah, I ain't gonna say nothing. Now I'm feeling trapped. I'm feeling guilty to some extent, because here I am talking about I don't do this and do that, but I done got tricked into this, y'all. I got tricked. You feel me? I don't know she finna do this. So I said, nah, I ain't gonna say nothing. And here he come, he done walked back towards me. He said, Joe T, let me holler at my mama. I said, all right, man. I said, look, you take care of yourself, right? I'm feeling all kind of messed up. I said, you take care of yourself. So I hand the phone back to bro. I said, bro, I'll holler at you later, you know what I'm saying? When you get off the phone, right? And it's got to be probably about, maybe less than 10 minutes left on the phone call, right? Because she hitting that thing for a minute, y'all. I'm telling you now. So time passed. He get off the phone. He come knock on the cell door. He said, Joe T, man, mess with me, man, on this here, man. I said, hey, bro, I done told you what it is, man. I ain't finna give you no slack on that violation, but I'm feeling bad, y'all. I'm feeling bad. So look, this is what I did. Don't y'all judge me. I don't want to hear it in your comments or nothing like that, but this is what I did. This is what I did, y'all. I go holler at my COS. I said, look, man. I said, man, have brother them, you know what I'm saying? Just put it on him, but don't put it on him. You understand what I'm saying? He said, what you talking about, Joe T? You done got soft or something? I said, no. I said, man, just take care of the violation, man. Send the message, but don't have him come up out of bruised up and banged up. He going to visit. So bruh know me. Bruh been around me for a long time. He said, Joe T, what you got going on, man? Because see, I done a lot of dirt with bruh. You feel what I'm saying? And if I got some dirt going on, he won't in on it. You see what I'm saying? He thinking maybe I done charge him up, something like that, but I don't do that either, right? I don't do none of that. I said, bro, ain't nothing going on. I'm feeling bad. I can't tell him what just happened. I can't tell my own COS what just happened. You feel me? I'm just trying to get him to understand, lighten up on him, let the boy go to visit, right? So check it out. They go in there, they take care of business. They ain't really put it on him. So I know brother and told him to be in. Here this fool come back to the cell. You know what I'm saying? After it was over with, something about, Joe T, I appreciate that. I'm trying to play it off. I said, like, you appreciate what? Because I'm feeling some kind of way about what done happened. I'm just wondering in my mind, did his mama tell him? Do he know why I did that? You understand what I'm saying? Look here. I said, man, I ain't done nothing, man. You need to stay out of the way, man. It's going to be some problem. He said, Joe T, I promise, I ain't doing nothing else. I ain't doing nothing else. Now, my sister come to visit. So I'm going to visit this weekend, right? I'm up in the VG. He up in the VG. His mama up in the VG. Now, I see her all different now. I done heard that thing doing like this and all this and that and her moaning, talking about get it, daddy, and all these different types of things. I can't take my eyes off of her. You know what I'm saying? And then my sister like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, nothing. I can't tell my sister nothing like that. I can't tell her nothing like that. I said, nothing. She said, boy, I don't know what you got going on. You mess with that woman. I'm like, no. Look, guilt and shame washing all over me. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to act. And then here he come over to the table, introducing his mama to me. Then she give me that look. I said, how you doing? She said, I'm fine. She said, when do we get to talk to you again? Oh, I get to stuttering, y'all. Y'all know I'm smooth with my mouth, but I get to stutter. I said, I don't even know. Whenever he call you again or whatever, you know, I'll let you here and there and whatnot. But yeah, okay, you do good. You have a good visit and all this. I'm trying to get them away from the table. My sister said, what is wrong with you? You don't act like that around women. I said, look, she ain't straight. That's all I can say. I said, she ain't straight. I couldn't tell my sister what really went on. Visit's over with. I can't wait to get up out of there. I get back to the pod. I'm chilling. Here come bro. He come over to the cell. He said, hey, mom said, you know what I'm saying, give her a call, right? I said, when you gonna call her? Knowing I ain't supposed to say that, but I'm intrigued now. I'm intrigued. He said, all right, call anytime you want to. I said, no, don't go out of your way. I said, but whenever you get on the phone, I'll holler at her real quick, you know what I'm saying, and then, you know, let her keep moving, right? He said, I'm finna call her now then, Joe T. I said, go ahead then, I'll holler at her. He get on the phone. He called his mom. He sitting there, he talked for about 5 or 10 minutes. You know, our phone calls 30 minutes, y'all. He on the phone about 5 or 10 minutes. Then he holler, hey, Joe T. I like, yeah. He said, look, just like this, y'all. He said, moms want to holler at you. I said, man, what he put me on blast like that for? You know, I'm thinking in my mind, right? You know, when you feeling guilty about something, your mind is different, y'all. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Your mind is different. You see things different. You hear things different. And that's what was going on because I'm feeling guilty about this thing. So I get on the phone. I'm talking to her. I say, hey, how you doing? She said, first thing out of her mouth, appreciate what you did for my son. I said, ain't no problem. Ain't no problem. I said, did you say anything to him? She said, no. I said, this going to be our secret. This going to be our secret then. I said, okay, I appreciate that. She said, you want to hear some more? I paused for a minute. She said, hold on just a second. She said, I know you do. And if y'all want to hear how this play out, you're going to have to tune in to the next episode, right? This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.